Hey guys, today I wanted to talk a little bit about the state of Georgia and why it's going to be very important in the 2020 presidential election. It actually has a unique position this year to be impactful not only in the presidential race, but also in the battle for the control of the Senate. Today, we're going to talk about what the outcome is looking like in between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. Now, the Electoral College that we have set up at this moment, from what forecasts are looking like, is 248 electoral votes either solidly or leaning towards the Democrats, or 248 Republican votes either leaning in their direction or solidly in their direction. From the map that we see right here, we see three battleground states, real battleground states: Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Arizona. The first two of those three, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, were of the shocks of the 2016 presidential race, where President Trump was able to actually peel those two off from Hillary Clinton, along with Michigan, and win the Electoral College. Arizona narrowly went for him. Now, today we're talking specifically for the state of Georgia. In this map, we see that it's a light pink. It has not gone for a Republican since the 1990s, either 92 or 96 with Bill Clinton. That's why we have it as a pink. It's more likely than not to go for the Republican, but it's pretty competitive. It has the potential to be competitive. Now, for Trump to win re-election, he needs to win all of the red and pink states that you see right on the map, and he needs to win two other states. Now, the way Georgia plays into this is that currently, as Biden seems to be the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party, he has a wide appeal with moderates, suburban voters. We've seen that in the election results in the primary so far. Older voters also like him. African Americans are enthusiastic by him. And anti-Trump Republicans, people who used to be Republicans, who no longer believe that the Republican Party is their party. These people have came up to vote for him in the 2020 primary so far, and I believe that with him as the nominee, he is able to go on offense and attack Trump in states that are pretty Republican or historically have been pretty Republican, like the state of Georgia. We have it here on this map as a possible battleground state. And you see automatically the tightness comparison, the way that both parties had the same amount of electoral votes leaning or solidly in their direction. That goes away with Biden, I believe, because I believe that he really does put North Carolina and Georgia at play, not to mention Florida, which is another conversation entirely. But to continue with Georgia, why is Georgia a ripe target for the Democratic nominee? It has a growing population, and the growing population is around the Atlanta area and its suburbs. Now, this is filled with African Americans, young professionals. The Hispanic and Asian communities are very numerous in this area, and college-educated suburban white women that actually voted for Donald Trump in 2016 ever so slightly. But we believe that that was because of Hillary Clinton's own weaknesses, and Joe Biden would actually have a better chance to get a bigger percentage of them. In 2018, they were the key to winning the House of Representatives for the Democrats. So having this big population of these specific groups of people is really good for Joe Biden going into November. In this slide that we see right here, we can compare the election results from 2004 all the way to 2018. In 2004, it was John Kerry running against the incumbent president, George W. Bush, for George W. Bush's reelection. He lost in 2004 by over 16 percentage points, as you can see here in the graph. Now, in 2008, President Obama, then Senator Obama, lost his state, but he cut that Republican advantage by quite a lot. 2012, 2016, it kind of stayed around that 2008 ballpark. And then in 2018, you just see a surge of new voters and people who are not happy with the current Republican administration. In 2018, Stacey Abrams narrowly lost the race for governor by less than 2 percentage points. So if you see right there, in those, 14 years, you have a drastic change. You go from a negative 16 percentage point margin to a negative 2 percentage point margin. Now, a lot of this change is coming from the Atlanta area and its suburbs. You see the Atlanta proper county, DeKalb, and you see Fulton and you see Cobb, Gwinnett County. All of these counties are vital. They're absolutely vital. Henry County as well. And you just see how a lot of the Georgia population is concentrated right there. Now, in these following maps that we're going to see, we're going to compare the statewide by county election results for the state of Georgia from 2004 all the way to 2018. Now, I want to specifically look at what I've encircled here. That is the Atlanta area in its suburbs. 2004, Bush's reelection. He wins by over 16 percentage points. And there, within that circle, you see 3 counties that are blue and light blue. That means, the darker blue and the darker red corresponds to the margins, the amount by which the victor won. So in that center county, the Atlanta county, the Democrat won it by a lot, less so with Fulton County right next door to the left, the light blue county. You see how in 2008, you start seeing a couple of blue and the pinking of some of the darker red areas in 2004. 2012, we continue to see more light blue and more pink and less deep dark red. That is changing the margins of the statewide election. We go here, continue looking at inside the circle, 2014, 2016, 2018. The more you go to present day, the more blue, light blue, and even darker blue, and the less pink that you see. These are the most populous counties of the state of Georgia. They are turning Georgia purple and blue if it continues at this rate. But it only counts if people in those areas go out to vote. Now, you see inside of the circle, and it has dramatically changed. We're going to go to a complete comparison between 2004 and 2018. Look at those counties flipping. It changes a 16 election margin, a minus 16 for the Democrat, to a minus 2. And I believe that in 2020, we're going to have enough potential voters out there to win the state of Georgia. Now, if Georgia ends up going blue, Trump could win Pennsylvania and he can win Wisconsin and he would still lose. And in this scenario, we have Arizona also flipping blue and we have Michigan going back blue. Now, in this scenario, we could lose the big states of Florida, North Carolina, and Ohio, and we can still win. Now, Georgia is not only important for the presidential race, it's also very, very uniquely vital for the Senate races. Now, with the Republicans in control of the Senate over the past, for the entire Trump administration, they have been able to put in young, right-wing, conservative judges that will determine the direction of the courts for the next generation. And besides that, obviously, they voted to acquit him in the impeachment trial. And they also have passed all the bills that he wanted to, and they have not implemented any congressional oversight to his administration. Now, these are consequential things that will determine the future of the country for a long time to come. And Georgia has a unique role. Why is that? Because it has a normal scheduled election, but it also has a senator who is retiring. The senator that's retiring opens up another election seat. another Senate seat for this election. It has two seats, whereas every other state only that has a seat up right now only has one. Now, if Georgia is able to get one or even two Democratic senators, it would put in all likelihood the Democrat will be able to win. Democrats will be able to have control of the Senate. Now, an important thing to keep in mind is even if Democrats don't accomplish this to win a Senate seat or two, or even to win for Joe Biden to win the 15 electoral votes, the 15 or 16 electoral votes that Georgia has, the fact that the Republicans would have to spend money on a state that should be solidly in their column is a big deal. That money that they would have to invest in Georgia in ensuring that it goes Republican again would mean less money that they would be able to put into Pennsylvania or North Carolina or Arizona or Florida. So I think that is why Georgia has a unique position in this election, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it plays out. But thanks for watching, and see you soon.